Good morning, class 7th. Again, I'm here with lesson plan 3 and 4 of block 9, the Mughal Empire part 2. Further, I will not take two lesson plans together. Instead, I will choose another path that I will let you know. So, but today I'm going to take the two lesson plan. So, take your time and complete the work on time. This is not the favorable time for anyone, so please do a little hard work so that you can be in the competition. Now I'm going to start lesson plan 3. As usual, I will ask you the question. Now tell me, what qualities should a fair and just king have towards his people? You can write down these qualities in the comment section. But according to me, the qualities should be: the king must be impartial, have patience, and he should not be full of prejudices. So today we will compare the policies of Akbar and Aurangzeb. For that, you need to read the policies of Aurangzeb and Akbar from the content book. Then you will identify two main similarities and differences. After that, draw the column in your notebook, and after reading it, you can fill the column. The column or the table is available in the next slide. Here it is given like that. You can draw it. You can pause the video here, read it, draw it, complete the column, and come back again. I hope you are done. Now, related to your reading, I am going to ask you a few of the questions. What was Akbar's policy on Rajputs? Akbar made friends with the Rajputs. He engaged them in his administration and he married Rajput princes to bring about closeness between Mughals and Rajputs. The next question is, what was Akbar's policy on religion? He was a secular by nature and practiced the policy of the universal tolerance. How was the tax system under Akbar? The tax system was not burdensome. It means he was also liberal towards the poor people so that they can give taxes as their convenient. Now, what was Aurangzeb's policy on the same matter? It means on Rajputs, on religion, and on taxes. Though Akbar knew the importance of Rajputs, he interfered in their rule. He made certain rules based upon Sharia, reimposed jizya, and banned the construction of new temples. He increased taxes and loans for the poor, and poor were not easily available as during the time of Akbar. What are two positive things about Aurangzeb's rule? Okay, sorry. First of all, what are the two positive things about Akbar's policies? Akbar abolished land taxes on the poor and was tolerant towards all religion. What are two positive things about Aurangzeb's rule? Aurangzeb expanded the empire much beyond any of his predecessors, and he continued to appoint Hindu officers in order to rule or run his empire. What do you think was the impact of these policies on the empire? The result or the consequences of these policies was, as a result, the rule of Akbar saw less revolt than Aurangzeb's rule. What could have Aurangzeb done differently to avoid turmoil or violent atmosphere? You may tell your own answers, but I had written, or I'm going to tell, Aurangzeb should have continued the policy of his father. He should have limited the extent of his empire. He should not be more ambitious. He should modernize his army. He could develop a naval power and developed trusted men and officers at different offices. He could have made peace and entered into matrimonial alliances with Marathas or sultans of Deccan. He could have been more tolerant towards the larger population and their religion. Now come to the lesson plan 4. And in lesson plan 4, we will see the life of common people. I will start it from the recap, and this block has covered the expansion, consolidation, and features of the Mughal rule under Jahangir, Shah Jahan, and Aurangzeb. You may feel difficulty to understand the glorious rule of Mughals should have led to overall prosperity, but the life of common people was contrary to this. It means life of common people was very miserable. So, what did we learn about Mughal Empire? After Akbar, the Mughal rule reached its peak as far as its extent is considered. It was glorious because there was increase in art and architecture. Foreign visitors to India under the rule of Jahangir and Shah Jahan were spellbound by the life of rulers and the elites. Trade and commerce flourished, and there was demand for Indian products across the world. Although this changed sharply under the rule of Aurangzeb, who led a much simpler life. Now, you will review the section Life of Common Man, Life of Common People, and understand the difference between the life of common people from those of the Mughal rulers. You can pause the video here, read the section so that we can discuss few of the questions related to it. Now, I hope you are done. Now tell me, why were Mughal rulers able to lead a life of comfort? Mughal rulers were able to lead a life of comfort, especially after Akbar's rule, because they had inherited a vast empire and had large amount of resources and wealth at their disposal. The next question is, how was life of nobles and the officers under the Mughal rule? The nobles lived in big houses, wore fine clothes and jewelry, and had a number of servants to look after their needs and were well paid. Among officials, the Mansabdars were the highest paid officers in the empire. The middle class, such as the employee of the court and palace, still had better life. Artists and craftsmen also led lives of comfort. Now, what kind of life did the rural elite lead? The rural elite, meaning the big landlords and zamindars, lived in good houses, and were prosperous or rich due to the revenue they collected. Some of them maintained small troops. They had good influence and power in their regions. The next question is, why was the life of common people different from the rest of the people? The ordinary peasants lead a difficult life. They worked hard throughout the year and were unable to collect enough for themselves. A careful study of Mughal miniature paintings will reveal that their position generally consisted of mats, few clothes, and little else. They had enough to eat since most of them had land and could save some grains for themselves. But during the time of flood and droughts, their life became difficult. In villages, they were exploited by the zamindars and other officers, and in cities, they were exploited by their masters. Common people were unable to afford most things. They could not wear good clothes or footwear. They used common herbs as medicine and did not have money for much else. So it means the life of the common people was very miserable comparing to the nobles and rulers. I hope you understood the block well. After reading it, you will complete the block in notebook. In workbook, you will complete S3, and in content book, you will complete my learning chart. Thank you and have a nice day.